No Man's Sky latest update is astonishing. Keanu Reeves might even say breathtaking, and it brings the game onto a new level. The best? The update is free, no need to pay for an overpriced remaster. Obviously there are still a few bugs and glitches which need to be fixed, though the game does look beautiful. If I would tell you No Man's Sky still bores me, you would most likely just dislike this video and move over to the next one recommended in your list. It is fair, but hear me out. It is not No Man's Sky's fault. I am the problem, as one likes to say during the breakup in a relationship. Or let's say the problem is my relation to the open world survival genre, and I am in fact catching myself having somewhat like open world survival fatigue. Or even more, not only is it a fatigue I am feeling with open world survival games, especially the ones with a big focus on crafting, I feel open world games in general have become exhausting. So it doesn't matter which game in relation to the genre, I could play it an hour or maybe two straight and then just put it aside, most likely not touching it again for some time. This could be No Man's Sky as said, Enshrouded, 7 Days to Die, Valheim, Nightingale, or any other game where the game sets me free with barely any objective, where I start cutting down trees and masses to build my next base until the new house stands there in some emptied woodland. So what is next? Oh yes, the need to gather food or hunt for food, collect water, maybe cook something, craft more stuff. If I'm lucky I will find some story elements, notes and endless documents to read, and if I'm super lucky the game has some mystery to it which would be in fact interesting to follow. Don't get me wrong, games like the ones mentioned above, for example Valheim or Nightingale, do have some kind of story, it just doesn't feel very present. For my videos I'm being very honest, if I evaluate a survival game and say it is a good game, I do really think it is a good game. I think it is possible to rate a game as good even though it doesn't fit your taste. So I can say the No Man's Sky update is really good if you're into these type of games, maybe even being a hardcore survival gamer. What is the problem now? And maybe you can relate, maybe you feel the same by now when it comes to these type of games. See, I'm a casual gamer, I don't play things for fame, I don't want to beat the latest high score, do speed runs, build the highest building or whatever. After work I just want to sit down and enjoy a different world, far away from our everyday stress and problems. And in the past I would play some open world survival games, and I still do to some extent. But by now it feels there are barely any changes to the genre. Every new game released sticks to the same construct. You gather material, you build a base, maybe find some hints on some story, gather more material and build more. If you learn to play one of these games, you most likely know how to play any other of them. Sadly, it sometimes even goes as far as assets being as generic like taken from the Unity or Unreal store, which doesn't have to be bad, but meaning a framework and prototype just thrown together and elements just renamed. Done is the first iteration of that new generic open world survival crafting game, and there are tons of these games being released almost every month. And even if the studio does hire an artist and having a special concept to the gameplay, you can't just keep people playing by saying you need to gather more or something. Shocking to see how Palworld just declined in its user base, even though I understand why people moved on eventually. Let's be honest, as soon as a game gets hyped to the sky for some reason, you might want to be careful investing too much time and money into the game, especially if it is multiplayer, the servers are being shut down just a year later, or the lobbies are empty. It kind of feels like the zombie genre in games, TV series and movies at the time when they overdid it, or just the next Marvel production by Disney in times where they seem to have no clue on what story to tell next. As said, me as a casual gamer wants to dive into a strange new world, forget what is happening around you just for a few hours. So what could we play? We don't want to be all negative here. When we are taking this casual player view, considering games breaking out of the usual grind, there's still a few. Let's take Planet Crafter for example. Great open world survival game, sure you'll need to gather material and build, but you have a clear objective. Terraform this planet, and this is enriched with a story to follow. One of my favorites would be Green Hell by Creepy Jar. Super challenging, not just boring gathering and base building, dangers just everywhere and such a deep story. Honestly, the first game that made me cry on a live stream. Once Human was close to become a survival game where I would invest more time in, though with their plans to reset servers, how the creator program runs, and what the state of the game is in, I don't know. Then we have Eco, a survival game similar to Minecraft, though with the twist of the environment counting. The objective is to shoot down a meteor with high-tech lasers, and you need to develop this technological stage without ruining the ecosystem of the planet. By the way, best played with the community. See, I think open world survival gaming is certainly not dead, though it is really hard to find new games that will not just throw you into the universe and let you go with nothing much to do except for gathering and building. It is hard to find that one game that dares to break with the usual conventions of open world survival games and offer something new. So I'm happy to hear what your favorite currently is. What is your favorite survival game, either with crafting or without? Tell me in the comments, and please don't say ARK. And if we look back at the beginning, No Man's Sky newest update? Cool game, really good looking, but sadly I cannot enjoy it. Even though the universe is vast, for me it feels empty. So how do you feel about it? Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.